Welcome, everybody. This is the Masterclass. My name is Patricknazareth. I have around 30 years of experience in teaching, and I would like to help dispel your doubts, should you have any. Today, we study the chapter Indigo, written by Louis Fischer. Louis Fischer was born in 1896. He died in 1970. He was an American journalist and a biographer. He had a great deal of expertise on Soviet and Indian affairs. He even spent 14 years as a correspondent in Europe. He is known for writing biographical works on major 20th century political figures, and his work on Mahatma Gandhi, the life of Mahatma Gandhi, won a lot of critical acclaim because of its thorough research and the balanced perspective he brought to the book. He personally interviewed Gandhiji and many of his contemporaries, thus lending authenticity to the biography. Since he was a journalist, he was able to present everything in a balanced way to understand Gandhiji as a person, as a politician. Louis Fischer met Gandhi in 1942, and Gandhiji told him the story of how he first decided to take up the fight in 1917 of the Indigo sharecroppers. At that particular time, he was attending the Indian National Congress's conference in Lucknow when he was approached by a peasant, a poor farmer called Shukla. Shukla wanted him to come to Champaran, where he said they were oppressed by the landlords. Gandhiji had never even heard of such a place. He was told it was in the foothills of the Himalayas. And he told Shuklaji that, listen, I have other commitments. I have to go to Kampo. I have to go to other parts of the country. Shuklaji stuck by his side. Wherever Gandhiji went, Shuklaji was there. He spent time in Sevagram, where Gandhiji had his ashram. Days passed into weeks, and Gandhiji was so impressed that he said, listen, I have to go to Calcutta. Meet me in Calcutta, and then take me down to your place. So Shuklaji went off. When Gandhiji came to Calcutta, one of the first persons he saw was Shukla, who was patiently waiting for him. When the work was finished, Shuklaji and Gandhiji boarded a train to Patna. They came to the house of Rajendra Prasad. Dr. Rajendra Prasad later on went on to become the first president of independent India. He was not there at his house. The servants in the house recognized Shuklaji as a peasant, and they thought Gandhiji was one of his friends. So they allowed them to stay, but they were not even allowed to draw water because they were not aware that Gandhiji was not an untouchable. Before going to Champaran, Gandhiji first went to Muzaffarpur. There he met Professor J.B. Kripalani, whom he had met previously at Tagore's Shantiniketan. Kripalani ji was waiting with a large body of students when he reached. He stayed there for 2 days at the home of another professor called Malkani, who was a teacher in a government school. In those days, it was a big deal. A government professor harboring somebody like Gandhiji, in other words, a person who worked for the government, allowing somebody to stay in their house who worked against the government. People heard about Gandhiji's coming and why he had come. The farmers of Champaran began coming to meet Gandhiji. They came on foot, came by whatever conveyance they could find. And the lawyers of Muzaffarpur came to Gandhiji because they were the people who were fighting for the peasants in the court. They told him how much money they took from the peasants as their fee. Gandhiji first told them that they should not have taken fees from the poor people because as it is, they have very little to spare. So what was the problem in Champaran? Most of the agricultural land was divided into large estates that were owned by Englishmen and they were worked by Indian farmers. What was the commercial crop grown over there? Indigo. The landlords forced all the tenants to at least have 15% of their holdings with indigo and give the entire indigo crop to them as rent. This was done by forcing all of them to sign a long-term contract. Germany had developed synthetic indigo. They then made the peasants sign agreements which forced them to pay compensation, since they were now being told that we no longer want 15% indigo as payment. Since the farmers did not realize what they were doing and the idea of sharing their crop with the Englishmen was not good, most signed willingly, and people who did not sign, they engaged lawyers. What happened? These landlords hired thugs to look after their own interests. But by now, the real reason why they were being released had reached the peasants. They learned about the synthetic indigo. It was into this particular problem area that Gandhiji arrived. He started by understanding the facts. He visited the secretary of the British Landlords Association. The secretary refused point blank to give him any information whatsoever. Gandhiji called on the British commissioner. The commissioner told him, do not do anything. Go away from here immediately. But Gandhiji did not leave. He went to Motihari, which was the capital of Champaran at that time, with some other lawyers. When he reached the railway station, there was a large crowd of people waiting to see him. He stayed at a house and, using it as an headquarters, continued his investigations. When he heard that a peasant had been treated badly in a nearby village, Gandhiji went to see it. How did he travel? On the back of an elephant. The police superintendent sent a messenger who overtook him and said, "Go back. This is not for you to do." And Gandhiji listened. He was given an official notice to quit Champaran immediately. Gandhiji, he would disobey the order. As a result, he was asked to appear in court. The whole night, Gandhiji was awake, thinking about his next move. Gandhiji sent for Rajendra Prasad. He sent instructions to his ashram. He telegraphed a complete report to the Viceroy of India. Motihari in the morning was filled with peasants. All they knew was that somebody who had come to help was now in trouble with the authorities. Thousands of them came, and that was their first step in stepping out from the fear of the British. The officials did not know what to do. It was Gandhi who helped them regulate the crowd. He was polite, he was friendly. It was apparent to them that up till now, whatever they said, whatever they did, which was law to thousands, millions of people, could now be challenged, and that too by an Indian. The prosecutor asked the judge to postpone the trial. Gandhiji led a protest against the delay. He read out a statement. He said he was guilty. He asked to be punished because he had disobeyed orders that were given to him. The magistrate said that he would only pronounce sentence after 2 hours. He asked Gandhi to provide bail for those 120 minutes. Gandhiji refused bail. The judge then released him. 2 hours later, the judge said, "I will keep the judgment pending for some more days," and he allowed Gandhi to remain at liberty. Rajendra Prasad, Brij Kishore Babu, Maulana Mazrul Haq, and other lawyers had come to Bihar and met him. What were they to do if he was sentenced to prison? The lawyers said, "We have come to help you. If you went to jail, there is no one to help. Therefore, we will go home." Gandhiji wanted to know what they felt about the injustice that was being done to the farmers. The lawyers decided to consult among themselves. The discussion was that even though Gandhi was a stranger and yet he was prepared to go to prison for the sake of peasants, these lawyers, who were residents of the adjoining districts, and also those people who claimed to be servants of these peasants, if they were to go home, it would be shameful on their part. Went back to Gandhi and they said that if you are sent to jail, we will follow you. He took out a piece of paper, divided the group into pairs, and then he told them that this is the order in which each one of you is going to try and be arrested. Few days later, Gandhiji received a written communication from the magistrate that the Lieutenant Governor had ordered him that the case be dropped. For the first time in modern India, civil disobedience had won. What did Gandhi and the lawyers do? Did they move? No. They decided to conduct an inquiry. Statements from around 10,000 people. Documents were collected also. The entire area was abuzz. There were the protests of the landlords, and Gandhi was summoned to meet Sir Edward Gate, who was Lieutenant Governor. Again, before leaving, he went and met people associated with this movement and told them what to do if he should not return because he was arrested. He had 4 interviews with the Lieutenant Governor. What was the result? An official commission of inquiry was done into the Indigo sharecropper situation. Who did the commission consist of? Landlords, government officials, and Gandhiji, who was the sole representative of the peasants. So he remained in Champaran for 7 months. This visit, which was simply based on one man, Shuklaji's entreaties, his persuasions, "Please come down," took almost a full year of Gandhiji's life. The official inquiry saw a lot of evidence gathered against the big planters. And when they saw this, the planters agreed to make refunds to the peasants. "But how much should we pay back?" they asked Gandhi. He only asked for 50%. The representative of the planters offered 25%. And just for 25%, Gandhiji took him at his word, and hence the deadlock was broken. The settlement was adopted unanimously. Everybody agreed it was the right thing to do. But why was only 25% taken? Gandhiji explained the refund was not important. But what was important was the fact that the landlords had been forced to pay part of the money and as a result had lost some of their prestige. Previously, the planters were above the law. Now the farmers had realized that they had rights and they had defenders. The fear of the British was broken. The British planters left their estates, which went back to the peasants, and indigo sharecropping disappeared from Champaran. Gandhiji in Champaran had seen the social, the cultural backwardness of that area. So he asked for volunteers to educate the people. 2 young men, Mahadev Desai and Narhari Parikh, and their wives volunteered. More came from Bombay. People came from Pune, other parts of India. Devdas, who was Gandhi's youngest son, arrived from the ashram, and so did Mrs. Gandhi. Primary schools opened in 6 villages. Kasturbai taught the ashram rules, cleanliness and community sanitation. The health conditions were very bad. What did Gandhiji do? He got a doctor to come to the villages. The doctor volunteered his service for 6 months. Only 3 medicines were available at that time: castor oil, quinine and sulfur. Everyone was treated using these three medicines only. Gandhiji noticed how dirty were the clothes that the women were wearing. Kasturbai was asked to talk to them. She realized that they were so poor, they had only the one pair of clothes to wear. While he was in Champaran, it was not as if Gandhiji lost touch with his ashram. Regular instructions were sent by mail, financial accounts were asked. In fact, once he even sent back word to Gujarat that it is time for the latrine ditches to be filled in and new ones to be dug, otherwise the old ones would begin to smell. Champaran was a turning point in Gandhiji's life. He simply decided that India was his country and that the British could not order an Indian about. Champaran did not begin as an act against the government. It's simply a need to help people who are suffering. This is what Gandhiji was very good at. Yes, he practiced politics, but he looked at practical day-to-day problems that millions of his countrymen were facing. He was not loyal to an idea. He was not loyal to a thought. He was loyal to living human beings. Their problems were his problems. He tried to make everybody a new type of Indian, an Indian who could stand on his own 2 feet, who could feel free, who knew what was good for him and what was bad for him. Earlier on, Charles Freer Andrews had come to Champaran to meet Gandhi before leaving for the Fiji Islands. Gandhi's lawyer friends thought it would be good if a foreigner would stay back and help Gandhiji in Champaran. Andrews was open to the idea, but Gandhiji refused. Why did he refuse? Because he did not want to take help from any foreigner. He was certain that he was an Indian, he had come to help Indians, and Indians were good enough to show the British that this was their country. What was the takeaway from all this? As Rajendra Prasad says, we were taught a lesson in self-reliance. Self-reliance and Indian independence and the people at large, people in the country, were thus bound together. Who are the characters in this story then? Firstly, Mahatma Gandhi. A patient, methodical, a principled man. He thinks strategically. He combines moral authority with practical wisdom. You have Rajkumar Shukla, an illiterate and poor peasant, but he is persistent in pursuing Gandhi so that Gandhiji could fight for them. There's the group of lawyers which include Rajendra Prasad. Previously, they were self-serving, collecting large fees from the peasants. But they undergo a transformation and are ready to follow Gandhiji to jail rather than leave the cause. Then there are the British officials. They are arrogant, they are dismissive of Indian concerns of Indian people. But ultimately, they are forced to recognize Gandhiji's moral authority. The peasants, they are oppressed, but they possess dignity, and courage is awakened inside them by Gandhiji's actions. The servants in Rajendra Prasad's house show the class and caste bias prevailing in society at the time. They look at Gandhiji as another peasant and untouchable. What are the settings? The time is December 1916 to 1917, when the British ruled India. Lucknow, Gandhiji first meets Shukla there at the Congress Convention. There is Sevagram, Gandhiji's ashram in central India. The district of Champaran in Bihar, which is located at the foothills of the Himalayas near Nepal. There is Muzaffarpur, a stop where Gandhiji goes to gather information. Motihari is the capital of Champaran, where the confrontation with the British occurs. And Patna, where Shukla leads Gandhiji to Rajendra Prasad's house. What are the literary devices used? The narrative technique, a biographical narrative style. Fischer combines historical documentation and storytelling elements to make this account engaging. There is characterization through action, whether it is a character of Gandhiji, whether it is a character of Rajendra Prasad, whether it is a character of the lawyers or professors. Their actions show their characters. There is symbolism. The indigo crop, for example, it's a symbol of colonial exploitation and forced labor. The liberation of the peasants from indigo cultivation is their broader liberation from fear and oppression. There is irony. The dramatic irony is how the servants in Rajendra Prasad's house look at Gandhiji as another peasant and untouchable. They don't recognize that this is the man who will one day lead India to independence. There is foreshadowing. The text tells us that the larger implications of the Champaran incident for the British, suggesting that it would be the catalyst for independence. Direct speech and dialogue. Fischer uses quotations from Gandhiji from other participants, thus giving this entire account an authenticity. There is contrast. Fischer presents Gandhiji's simple approach with the complex legal and political machinery of the British administration. What are the themes that run through this lesson? There is satyagraha and non-violent resistance. It shows us Gandhiji's philosophy of using truth and peaceful resistance to fight injustice. There is self-reliance. Gandhiji refuses the help of Charles Freer Andrews. thus emphasizing that Indians are responsible for solving their own problems. Social justice and peasant rights, how exploitation of rural farmers takes place, and the need for both their economic and social liberation. There is fear versus courage, how the peasants change from being fearful of the British to protesting against them and finding their voice. There is the unity of political and social action. Gandhiji's entire approach, not just addressing political problems, but also looking after education, health, sanitation, shows how each thing is connected to the idea of liberating people in society. There is individual action leading to mass movement. One person, Rajkumar Shukla, forced another person, Gandhiji. He found the right leader to lead his agitation and ultimately defeat the British. That's the lesson then for you. I do hope I have been of help. If I have, please do remember to like, subscribe and share. There might be others who would be requiring our help. Thank you so much for watching.